Okay, Julie, it's whenever you are ready, we are going to share our takeaways and a recap from World Tour 2023 in Raleigh, North Carolina last Saturday. Floor is yours.
All right, hold on just a second.
Okay. I'm bouncing back and forth and all the notes that I wrote. I used the back where all the extra note taking was to take notes. And then as the speakers were speaking, I took notes under their pages. So I'm kind of back and forth.
Sorry, I had to go into a different room.
You're
Okay.
good.
Let's y'all think I'm so prepared here. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of go through my notes and hit the high points type things. I had fun. It was good, like just being around people that had like the same like mission, vision, whatever you want to call it. Like the same, I guess, values you would say. Um, I liked what they said about what if I don't do anything about my why. So like they were talking about the why and kind of making you reflect on and think about if you didn't do anything, what would like basically would anything change or would anything be different? And where you're going, like you want to see where you were and you want to see where you are going. That way you can kind of see how far you've come. And it kind of makes you kind of look back and see, like, because sometimes you don't feel like you've done a whole lot. And then when you look back, you see that you actually have done more than you think you've done, because a lot of times it's just like a day-to-day type thing, and we're like, oh, we're not really getting anything done. But then we look back and it's like, oh, I've actually done more than I think. One thing that I wrote down, I don't even know who said it because I just put it in a random spot, but they said personal is powerful. And I think that is very true when it comes to like cus- okay, was that me or y'all that went out?
That was you that went out the room.
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you now.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hey.
Y'all hear me?
Hey.
Can y'all hear me?
We're
Hey.
losing you.
What did y'all hear? Anything?
We did. You were saying, oh man, Julie. What was the last thing she was saying? It was pretty good. She was getting to the punchline of it.
Talking about the why and why we didn't have to know
Hello.
right then and explain as to what our why was.
And going forward and then looking back to see how far you came, and something about being you is powerful.
Yes, that's what it was. The
Yeah.
personal is powerful.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what's up with this internet.
Welcome to my world.
So yeah, the personal is powerful. I was just saying that's like I really liked that quote or whatever you want to call it, because it can relate to, I mean, your whole life, but like teams, teammates, like communities, like your host, everybody. It can relate to everybody. Like the more personal you are with it, the more better it's gonna be. Mm-hmm. Whitney was talking about how you are here for a reason. That that like stood out to me because like I don't even remember the name of the book. I can put it on the page or whatever. I don't know. I was listening to an audiobook the other week or maybe like a month ago, and it was talking about like sometimes you are put somewhere for a reason, but sometimes you grow to where that's not where you need to be anymore type thing. So you're put here for a reason. So like at this moment, this is where you're meant to be, but that doesn't mean that's where you're always meant to be. Is what like the book, like sometimes you grow out of those places that yes, you were meant to be there in that moment, but maybe that was making you grow for something else.
That's kind of like
So
the quote that someone put in my room at the leadership retreat that said, "Those who tried to bury you didn't know you were a seed." So it's the
yeah,
same idea that you're put in a dark place, buried under dirt, but even like you grew out of that dirt into a plant or whatever. And I think that's kind of the same point. You're put there for a reason, and you might not know it at the time, but you grow into it and discover that reason.
she was talking about how I think some of my notes make more sense than others, but um she was talking about how if you have a big goal and you wanted to reach it and you knew you could reach it, would you stay? And basically saying that nobody can do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. And when you rise up, that'll set you apart. Um, so I liked how she said that the testers were your employees. So it kind of gave like a different viewpoint, I guess, on like I'm guilty of my testers sitting in my closet a lot. I don't really like carry them around, especially like I'm kind of scared to carry them around with me like when it gets warmer because then I'm like, well, they're gonna melt and then they're gonna be useless. So there'll be like a big blob of Scentsy, who knows what in a bag. And yeah, but I liked that analogy or whatever you want to call it that she said that they're your employees and some other trainings like I've listened to like basically it sells itself once you get it in front of people, so just trying to get it in front of people more. And she also said use each other, which as y'all know I like listening to trainings and hearing from everybody else. I'm sure everybody's heard the know the way, show the way, go the way. I like that. um just some good advice on getting paid off of your party, like some wordage on what you could say. You can get paid off of your party. Do you want to? And then posting in your party for the guests to use the host exclusive if the host doesn't want to.
Mhm.
Um, I had fun trying to plan some things like to use for the different things, the LTOs. Trying to figure out different things for that. Figure out how old Batman is and all that fun stuff. I really liked when what's his name? It was Orville's quote, but dude, man, was saying it. What's his name?
Michael.
Yes. But he was talking about the arrows, and I'm sure y'all have, at least the ones of y'all been around for a while, have heard this story, but I hadn't heard it before, and I really like that. How the arrows and the energy comes from the outside in, and it comes from others. And then arrows out, everything we have is a blessing. There are people that have less than us, and we need to have gratitude about that. So when basically a different way of saying your mindset kind of controls how your business is going to be. So if we're thankful for having, even if we do have just a little business, thankful for having that business, then it's going to be easier for us to build the business than worried about, oh, well, I don't have this and I don't have this. Because if we're concentrating on that, then we're not gonna ever get to have it. Let's see. So basically, he also said everything we have is a bonus, like looking at it as everything else is a bonus. Somebody, I don't know, because it's randomly written down, but somebody was talking about where are your binoculars focused? Because like the binoculars were the one of the things or whatever, and I thought that was kind of a cool way to basically say like what are you focusing on either in life or in your business? Like what is your focal point? Like one of Katie's trainings or something she posted was talking about you want to sell to the people that are like you. So like basically focusing on who you are and who the people, like the different things that the people would have. Oh, and I really liked where they were saying, are your binoculars focused on your own 2 feet? Because all that does is makes your feet look bigger. I mean, it makes it look bigger. So basically, like if you're focusing on all your problems, then your problems are just going to look a whole lot bigger. But if you're focusing on the good things, then the problems aren't going to look as big anymore. So that one like really stuck out to me. I mean, I won't go into all my notes stuff, but I guess the last point that I'll make before somebody else can share is I liked how they said find your circle of 5 cheerleaders to be your cheerleaders, not your competition. So like finding people, because y'all know like a lot of times these days like people are going to be your competition. They're going to with you. They're going to want to close to you so they can find out what you're doing so that they can use it or whatever. And like it's good to share, but to share and to like do things the same as each other but different. I don't know how to explain that, but I think y'all know what I mean. Like make it your own type thing. But I thought that was, I mean, just kind of reiterated that, like basically find the people that are your true friends slash co-workers, if you want to say.
Good. Okay. Good points. Lots of good points. Brittany, are you ready to go next?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go last in case it cuts me off and it doesn't matter my points. So go ahead, Brittany.
Your points matter, Katie. Okay.
Your points do matter.
I'll share them at some other point.
So, looking back at a lot of my notes, my main focus is definitely going to be helping my team and working my team and building my team better. One of the biggest things that kept popping out was to find your circle of 5, the 5 that you can rely on to help your team grow, to build, to expand, to succeed with you. And they kept saying there's always room for everyone to succeed in this business, and there is. Not everybody's going to be at the same pace as you are, and that's what I've had to sit back and realize. Not everybody is as motivated as I am. Not everybody is as goal oriented as I am. Not everybody is as organized as I am when it comes to working my business. And that was one thing that like really stuck out, was to be your pace setter for your team. If you don't have a pace setter, you be the pace setter for your team. So, and the biggest way to do that is like being the person that you want to be around. So I want to be around people who are like bubbly and outgoing and, speak what's on their mind, but in a professional manner. And that's how I am. And that's the type of people I want to be around and work with and build with and to succeed with. And it's okay to know that you're not always going to be motivated. There is a lot of times like where my health has affected me being motivated. I try not to let it affect me because, as Katie knows, 2 years ago, I sat in the hospital bed for 4 days in a row on Cincy working my business, regardless of what was going on. So that's really big for me. Even though this is just like a part-time thing for me, this is not something I do full-time. I try to put as much time and effort into my business as possible and taking care of my customers so that way they know that no matter the time or day, they can contact me. And that's another thing is like being able to set your boundaries. And I've preached it to my entire team, but I don't even take my own advice. Like I tell them all the time, set your boundaries with your customers. Make sure communicate with them that they can only contact you at a certain time. But oh yeah, you can call me at night. It's all right. The team members do it. It's fine. Because if I'm awake, I'm gonna answer. Now my customers, on the other hand, I don't answer them at 11 o'clock at night or respond. I try to like ignore the message that I even received from them and wait till the next morning when I wake up at 7 and message them back. So that way they're not like, oh my God, you were up so late last night. Don't worry about that. So make sure that you're doing your goals. Build your A team. The people who you don't think will join was one of the things that they had said. So that would be like your A team. The people you don't think are going to join are the people that you want to reach out to because more than likely they're going to want to join, whether it be to be a hobbyist or have a part-time gig, or maybe they do need a full-time job. So that was another good takeaway for me. And then, of course, when they say create the culture you're willing to do. So building the positivity, making sure that the team that you build around you is the people that you want to be around. You don't want to be around the Debbie Downers. There's a lot of times where I just kind of look at messages and I'm like, okay, well, you could have done this. You could have done this. There's this, so we can turn around and make it better, or you can choose to keep being a Debbie Downer, but don't keep talking to me about it because I'm not gonna listen to it. And one of my, this is gonna be the last thing that I say. The funniest quote, and I laughed at World Tour because of it, because I was like, oh my God, that's Paw Patrol. When the quote was said, no job is too big and no dream is too small. Because in Paw Patrol, and my daughter can repeat it to you word for word, the whole song, but it's no pup is too big, no job is too small for the Paw Patrol. And I thought that was absolutely adorable, the way that they like reworded it to the way they did. So that was one of my bigger highlights, was that part. And of course it made me think of my daughter while I was there. So but definitely working my team, trying to find a bigger circle that I can work with, and it be people that I want to I want to attract the people like what I'm doing, and hopefully can be as motivated as I am.
Love it, love it. And that plays a part in knowing who you're talking to. When I say talking to, I mean like your audience, your story that you're telling, your social sharing, like who it is you're trying to attract to you. That's like you got to know who you're talking to. So,
yeah,
something for you to be thinking on. Not saying it's going to happen, overnight, that you're going to know immediately who you're trying to help, but it's something you work on, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Stephanie, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Put my little hair up. Keeps falling down. Okay, so my first thing is, with this being my first in-person Cincy event, so I know that, everybody that goes, to come back and they say that it's amazing, but you don't truly know what it's going to be until you go. So my top thing is, if you have the chance to go, go. I came back to my hotel room. I was just so excited, so pumped up. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I have to do. I'm just so excited. I wish you could have been there. Oh my God, it was so much fun. So if you can go, go. And one of my things that stood out to me was when Katrina Anderson was talking, and she was like, if you can work your business in 15-minute increments, if that's what you have to do to get stuff done. And for me, that resonates with me because I try to get everything done as fast as I can. Like I try to get it all done at one point in time. But that doesn't work for me because in that point in time when I'm trying to get everything done, I'm going back and forth from this to this to this. So if I sit down for 15 minutes and work on this, and then I come back in a little bit later and I take 15 minutes and I work on this, I feel like I get it done a whole lot better and I'm not all over the board. She also said to wash, rinse, and repeat. Do those same steps that you do, wash, rinse, and repeat, and you'll get it done. And then my other thing that stood out at me was I had all my notes at home and I didn't bring them to mom and daddy's. What was it?
You're doing good. This is coming off the top of your head. This is good.
So Katrina Anderson, 15 minutes. Oh my God. I knew exactly what it was, and now that it's my turn, I've completely dropped it. It was something that Chastity Robinson said. I know who said it. And I just can't.
Chastity talked about
Oh yes, to be authentically you and to do it scared. So even if you're nervous, even if you're scared, like if you don't want to do lives, if you don't want to post every day, if you don't want to have those conversations, do it. Be authentically you and do it scared. And before you know it, you'll do it and you won't be scared and you'll build up courage and confidence and you'll get it done. So those are my big takeaways.
I love it. I love that you ended on that with the doing it scared. That was part of what my training was on this morning, was teaching your new recruits, people you sponsor, how to have conversations with people, because if in the DMs, in their one-to-ones, because if we can't teach our new teammates how to talk to their mom and their sister and their coworkers that they've joined Cincy in a one-to-one interaction, we're never going to be able to teach them how to social sell, which is what we call it when you post on social media about your Cincy business, because they're going to be too scared. So we got to give them like comfort, like keep them in their comfort zone just a little bit and get them to have little successes before you throw them to the go live and unbox your kit and show us what your Cincy Club order was and snap a selfie. And like, we're telling people who've never even taken a selfie in their entire life to take a selfie with their Cincy. You know what I mean? So I like that you said that, because doing it and then doing it scared, part of our responsibility as a sponsor is to kind of nudge people slightly out of their comfort zone. And so I like that, because once you do it scared, you're probably going to mess up. It's probably going to be awful, all the things, but the more you do it, the easier it's going to become. And then one day you won't even care that you are doing lives or snapping selfies or whatever. So I like that. I marked the 3 speakers that spoke. There's a lot of things that stood out to me, but Whitney Hebel talked about the tools that we have at in our business to use, and how she said basically always default to the catalog. And we're gonna have LTOs, we're gonna have collections and all kinds of things drop all throughout the year, and it's gonna feel overwhelming. We have a whole catalog full of all kinds of products for every aspect of your life. We can make it smell good, right? Julie and I had this conversation before about how sometimes it can feel overwhelming that there's so many options, there's so many products in the catalog, and there's so many different things being released at one time, it feels like. And so some people, when they get overwhelmed, they shut down. But at the end of the day, default to what's in the catalog, and doesn't even have to be everything that's in the catalog. I would even suggest don't focus on everything that's in the catalog. I'm sure that there are people out there who love our body wash. I'm not one of those people. I don't market body wash that much because I don't really use it as much as I used to, not anymore. But it's not that I feel like I'm hindering my audience from not knowing about body wash because I don't promote it. I mean, it's in our catalog. They can see it for themselves, but it's just not something I promote that often. So don't get overwhelmed about all the products that we offer. Promote what you can and what you're comfortable with, and what you want to promote, but always default back to the catalog whenever you're feeling overwhelmed with all the LTOs and the flash sales and all the things going on. So that to me stood out from Whitney's. In Katrina's, I think Stephanie touched on this, the wash, rinse, and repeat. Basically, it's like, don't overcomplicate the business. It's literally sell, book parties, share the opportunity, wash, rinse, repeat. We do that all the time. And she also said that it is okay. You are allowed to be selfish with your business, meaning we always have to put our businesses first, even when we have a team later on. Or maybe we don't have teammates, but we're just a part of a team community. It's okay to be selfish with our own business and put our business and our sales and our PRV and our parties first before anything else. And she talked about how she basically she has, I don't know, a lot of kids, a bunch of kids, and they're all different ages from like 1 to 18 or something like that. And they all go to 4 different schools. And so she said she doesn't really get to work her business during the week. It's mainly on the weekends. And so one thing she said was that every day she works in 15-minute pockets of time. And every day she does this. She checks her workstation and she talks to one person about hosting a party and one person about joining every day. That's it. Those are the 3 things that she does. And then on the weekends, she gets some of her bigger things that she needs to get done when she has more childcare and she just has more time to do things in her business. So, and then the last thing, Chastity, she dropped a whole bunch of good nuggets. Let's see. One thing that did stick out to me, she said, people move products, systems move people, and leaders are born at events. And I 100% agree with Stephanie that if you have the opportunity to go. I wish more than anything that I could bottle up that excitement and the enthusiasm that I had in myself on Saturday, that I saw that you guys have, that the whole room was full of. I wish I could bottle it up and have it to like sip on all throughout the year when I'm feeling like crazy, Looney Tune crazy, or I'm not feeling like good at all about anything in my business. I would love to be able to take a sip of that excitement from World Tour, and because it motivated me more than you guys know. And I will say this: if you thought World Tour in Raleigh was exciting, just wait for SFR is all I can say. Just wait for SFR. It's you can't even put it in words. You got to experience it. So I'm asking everybody to work on saving your pennies between now and whenever we can register and go, but get yourself to SFR in Charlotte. I promise you won't regret it. And then another thing that Chastity said was be who you want to be on your team. Basically, if you want to see more positivity, be the positivity. I think there's a radio station I listen to, and they say this all the time. And that is, the world is full of nice people. And if you can't find one, be one. And that's the same thing there. Be the person you want to see on your team. She also said, I just wrote down a couple of things. Bullet points was focus on the people. And this business model is simple, but it works. And create your community that you want to be in, which again is that be who you want to be on your team. And then the last thing I want to say was it was in the Arrows Out, Arrows In talk that Orville did, and you can look this up on YouTube if you're interested in it. It's a really great speech he gave at SFR in Kansas City 2017. It was fantastic, about having our arrows pointed out at others. Everything, and like Julie said, everything we have is a blessing. If we have a position of gratitude, then we need to know that when you have gratitude, it makes it almost impossible to be sad. When you have a position of gratitude, and that also to know too that when times are bad or times are tough or something, that's when we're learning. Not a lot of learning happens when you're on the mountain peak, when you're on the top and everything's going great. The learning happens when things are not going so great, or when things feel hard or feel tough, or you feel like you're, just not in a great place. That's when there is something to learn if you're listening and paying attention. And I think that's it. we've got two more minutes. I'll just run through real quick. At the end of World Tour, they gave us a quick rundown of like all the things they had talked about that day, just as a real quick 1 to 10 list. And so it started with number 10. Cincy spirit is a feeling, and I think that that's what Stephanie touched on. And that's the thing I want to be able to bottle up and use it when I need it, is that Cincy spirit. Number 9, focus on your business, on your personal business first. Number 8, create a monthly plan. So this is any business owner always has a business plan. Sometimes it's 3 months out, but with Cincy, they're at least giving us 1 month out, and that's their plan ahead sheets. I've been trying to put those in our monthly newsletter that I email out, but it's also in your marketing tab every month to give you an idea of what's going on that month. Number 7, we have catalogs, LTOs, and Cincy Club. Be engaged and energized in all of those, but you can always default back to the catalog products. 6 was find your focus incentive has started, so you can look at that in your incentive tab on the workstation. Number 5, manage your priorities. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, so we get to decide what's a priority and what's not. Number 4, use simple systems that work for you and you will work for them. If it's not working, trash it and get a new one. Number 3, follow up. We've got to do our follow-ups with our customers, you guys. Number 2, connect with your Cincy community. That's what we're here for at Warm Blessings. That's what SFR and World Tour is for, and that's what meeting other people is for, is connect with your Cincy community with like-minded people. And number 1, live arrows out so that you can be a blessing to other people and live with a posture of gratitude. Thank you, girls, so much for sharing your takeaways. I hope y'all have a great rest of your night. Bye, y'all.